Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
The largest organ for a body?
Oh, the skin.
All right. What's the smallest planet in our solar system?
Oh, goodness. Mars.
It's actually Mercury.
Mercury.
All right. What is the atomic symbol for gold?
AU.
All right. And just my final question. This is more of a geography question, but what is the capital of India?
Oh, New Delhi.
That's right. All right. 3 or 4, I think you know it.
One Midland senior has been accepted into all but one Ivy League school. So, of course, we had to test his brain. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll tell you more about Ezekiel Bajamo and where he's decided to commit. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we start tonight with some public safety news. Hours after the city of Odessa rescinded a citywide boil water notice, a private contractor hit a water line in North Odessa, leaving an estimated 7,500 residents without water. You're looking now at a map of the neighborhood that's affected. Boil water notice has now been issued for this area. The line break happened earlier this evening near Yukon and Grandview.
Always frustrating when the citizens are affected by these types of disruption. So that's number one priority. Let's get them back up. Let's do the right thing for our citizens. And then second, what can we do better? What can be avoided? And let's put those things into practice.
The city hopes to have water restored by midnight. An idea Yukon shared on Facebook that they'll be canceling school tomorrow. That's because they're without water. So far, this is the only school that has announced a closure. And like I said earlier, that boil water notice comes hours after the entire city had a boil water notice lifted. After more than 24 hours with a conserve water notice and some without water completely. Crews were working on a water line at 42nd and Dawn, and while making repairs, they found multiple broken valves. Eventually, water to the entire city of Odessa was shut off, and a boil water notice was put in place. Testing was completed around 10 o'clock this morning. CBS7 reached out to the city to get more information on the break and repairs. The city of Odessa says that will be discussed in tomorrow's city council meeting and workshop. On that agenda is an item to consider adopting a revised water conservation and drought contingency plan, as well as an item to consider the formation of utilities valve crew, whose goal it would be to locate, uncover, and perform maintenance on all of Odessa Utilities water and sewer lines. CBS7's Noe Ortega will be at those meetings tomorrow to give you the details. We'll have that on CBS7 First Alert News at 9 and 10. And on Friday, a car crashed into Alfredo's Palateria and injured multiple people. One of those was 16-year-old Augusto de Souza, a Brazilian national who had to be airlifted to Lubbock. De Souza loves to play soccer and has been playing his whole life. Now this incident could stop him from ever playing again. And that's because Augusto's injuries could cost him the ability to walk, or even worse, lose his leg. His mother says her son is in lots of pain, but he's able to move his toes, and he's smiling, and he seems a lot more confident now.
What's going to happen today, tomorrow, or later? I don't care. We have to take it one day at a time, because this is going to be a long process. And at this moment, all I'm thinking about is my son and his recovery.
Augusto has been in Lubbock since Friday, and although his first surgery went well, he's still not in the clear. He was expected to have a second surgery today. And if you'd like to help out the D'Souza family, you can visit our website at cbs7.com. We're tracking crime now, where the Midland County Sheriff's Department is investigating a homicide after a body with a gunshot wound was found yesterday morning. According to MCSO, they were called to the 10,000 block of South FM 1788 around 10 o'clock this morning. In the police report, they found the man dead upon arrival with a possible gunshot wound and confirmed that foul play is suspected. Officers say the body has been sent off for an autopsy. No other details have been released at this time, but stick with CBS7. We'll update you as we learn more. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller. Tom, it's Monday. It's been a beautiful day. Can we expect this throughout the week?
Well, we are going to be looking at a couple of changes in our forecast. Another front's on the way, but overall pretty quiet. Taking a look at the high temperatures today, not all that bad. Upper 80s, but we did top out at 90 out towards Monahans, Wink, Pecos. Fort Stockton and up to 93 down towards the Presidio area. Current temperatures are going to be into the upper 70s currently to 80 degrees out towards Odessa, 85 in the Monahans area, as we are looking at winds right now, calming down quite a bit, not too much out there across the area. Wind gusts are well below 20 miles an hour, so a pretty quiet evening as we're going to be looking at temperatures dropping down into the upper 50s overnight tonight under the clear skies. Looks like another quiet day on the way tomorrow before we see some isolated thunder showers try to come back into the forecast with that front. That's going to have a nice effect on our forecast. We'll talk more about that, peek at the weekend too, coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. 22,700. That's how many earthquakes have been recorded in the Permian Basin since 2017. Now, the vast majority of those have been very small and caused no damage. However, many of you may remember the 5.2 magnitude earthquake that hit us in 2022. Research that's being done at UT Austin suggests that it caused additional stress along fault lines, leading to even more earthquakes right here in the basin. That study, published in the Seismological Research Letters, uses data from TexNet, a seismic research network, to identify earthquake-producing zones and potential future seismic activity. It's led by Dr. Dino Huang, and the research indicates a concerning seismic trend that's moving closer to major cities along I-20.
The benefit of this research is that we can, throughout the study and throughout the historical data, we can pinpoint where the area that has higher seismic potential. By that I mean which is more prone to the largest size earthquake.
With the Permian Basin being a significant oil and gas hub, understanding induced seismicity is crucial for mitigating any future risks. And Ezekiel Bajamo, he's a senior at Trinity High School, and he's been accepted into 7 of the 8 Ivy League schools. But don't worry, that 8th school's got him waitlisted. His first acceptance letter came from Cornell back in March, and they just kept on coming. Through the course of his academic career, Bajamo has been involved in a long list of extracurriculars, like track, where he's ranked 3rd in the state, or being the VP of the West Texas Food Bank Junior Board. And lately, he's been traveling to visit his future university.
So after a lot of praying, deliberating, and just talking with family and just late nights of just thinking, I've decided that I'm committing to Harvard University this fall, and I will be concentrating in human developmental and regenerative biology with a secondary in economics.
Congratulations, Ezekiel, and good luck on all your future endeavors. And more local students are taking their next steps in life. Today was Ector County ISD's signing day, with pep rallies all across the district at high schools to celebrate the class of 2024. Take a look. Each senior at each high school gets the chance to tell friends and family what their post-high school plans are, whether it's college, military, or going into the workforce. And exciting news out of Music City Mall, work has officially started for Urban Air Odessa and the Little Gym. Here's a look at the groundbreaking ceremony that was held earlier today. Urban Air Odessa and the Little Gym will be built where the old movie theater is, and this project is 2 years in the making. Their owners say Odessa is a great place for this business to thrive. Demolition will begin, expected to be done by August 1st, and they expect to be open for business by Christmas. And happening tomorrow, the United Way of Odessa and CBS7 are teaming up for an exciting telethon to raise money for some great causes. The Drive to Strive campaign will kick off tomorrow at 9 in the morning, and it'll last until noon. Now, this is the first of its kind telethon for the organization, and board members and volunteers will help make calls into the community to garner support for all of the organizations that they work with.
We're just incredibly grateful for the support we've already received. We've kicked this campaign year off early and we've taken off, so we're excited to see how May goes.
It's just so nice to know that there are so many people out there that do care and they know how important this organization really is, because it really does go to a good cause.
The United Way is still in need of volunteers and teams in order to man the phone bank. If you're interested, call Crystal at 432-332-0941. And CBS7's Jacob Brandenburg will be on Facebook Live during the morning hours to give updates on the drive. You can also tune in to CBS7 News at noon for the tally before calls close. Let's talk some local sports now, where this weekend saw another accomplishment for UTBB athletics this year. The baseball team is heading to the South Central Regional Round of the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009. The Falcons went on an excellent run through the Lone Star Conference tournament, going 4-2 before they fell to Lubbock Christian in the championship game. Still, UTBB has a lot to look forward to. Last night, they were awarded the 5th seed in the South Central Region playoffs, and they'll face Regis University on Thursday. And football teams across the Permian Basin are preparing for the upcoming Friday Night Lights as spring football practices begin. Tonight, CBS7 Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis brings us a look at how the Midland Legacy Rebels are doing. Jair?
You know, we were going to try to reload. I mean, that's why we've been successful. I think we always say we have a 1-0 mentality. You know, we're going to win today. I know when you create a beast, you better feed the beast.
And if the Rebels want to remain the beast of District 2, they look to keep the same regimen that's brought success. Not playing spring ball in order to get an extra week of scrimmaging and practice in the summer. Years ago, Hartman did do spring football, but with not much success, he changed his method.
It works for us. In spring, I always felt like after about 4 or 5 days, you felt like you knew who the players were and you didn't want to get nobody hurt. Well, I don't know how to practice them that way, I only know how to practice one way, and that's physical.
And with a tough non-district schedule a couple of months away, Hartman feels the opportunity is going to help the Rebels make it 7 straight district titles.
It gives you a considerable advantage, the speed of the game, the coaching. I mean, you're not at a powerhouse program and you have bad coaches. Like, they'll be able to coach, we'll be able to coach. Our kids can play, they'll be able to play. And so you're going to find your weaknesses and you better fix them. They always say iron sharpens iron. Well, we're going to see.
Be sure to tune in tonight for even more local sports coverage with Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis. And still ahead, for 2 weeks, a tornado has touched down every day across the nation. Coming up next, we've got some tips for how you can protect yourself if severe weather comes this way. There's an old saying which goes, bad things come in threes, but lately a streak of bad severe weather has stretched even longer. 14 days to be exact. That's 14 days in a row with at least one tornado reported in the U.S. starting April 25th and going through last Friday. And hurricane season begins next month. Emily Schmidt tells us what you can do to prepare for damages in case you're in the path of the next storm.
This spring has brought some wild weather. The Storm Prediction Center confirmed at least 200 tornadoes over more than 2 straight weeks. Split-second damage requiring long-term recovery.
It's going to be just a lot of work to get this back in shape again.
The weather is changing. So even if you've never experienced a disaster before, you need to do some research on your area and see how likely you are to experience a disaster in the next few years.
Shannon Martin of Bankrate says these storms are a reminder to prepare for potential disaster by battening down your financial hatches, especially ahead of hurricane season, which begins June 1st.
For your insurance, you should speak with your agent and make sure to inquire about any coverage gaps. Depending on where you live, things like wind and wildfire might be excluded. Flood and earthquakes are generally always excluded from your policy. So if you don't have separate standalone policies, you might really leave yourself open for a big financial loss.
Martin says you can get your physical house in order as well. Get your roof inspected, test garage doors, seal gaps. Think about how to cover windows before the storm hits. The kind of disaster may change across the country. Great Plains tornadoes, California wildfires, Texas flooding. But a spokesperson for nonprofit industry association, the Insurance Information Institute, says last year homeowners insurance costs jumped around an average of 10 to 12% nationwide. And in some states, insurers are pulling out of more disaster-prone markets, leaving homeowners with fewer options, often at even higher costs. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
From Seattle to Saginaw and Nashville to Chicago, millions of Americans and people across Europe were treated to a spectacular sky show over the weekend. That's because of a series of powerful solar storms that sparked brilliant colored light displays across the northern hemisphere that began late Friday night. The aurora borealis, more commonly known as the northern lights, are visible when there's an interaction between the solar wind environment and Earth's magnetic field.
We had a particularly violent interaction that ended up sending particles into our atmosphere. Electrons, protons, and those interact with the constituents of our atmosphere to produce these beautiful lights.
Scientists say that the geomagnetic storms disrupted GPS satellites, some power grids, and even affected the operations of a few Midwest farms. It was labeled a historic G5, which is the highest level on the ranking scale. A solar storm of that size hasn't been seen on Earth since 2003.
And unfortunately, we had clouds across West Texas, so we couldn't see any of that late Friday night and again on Saturday night. But it looks like those clouds are going to come back a little bit. Isolated thunderstorm chances too. We'll talk more about that coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look at the upper levels, the weather makers we like to call it, and this is water vapor imagery that really defines the storm systems up around 18,000 feet in the atmosphere. And what that does for it is it allows us to see the troughs and the ridges out there across the area. Here's the trough that's moving off to the east that caused the thunder showers we had yesterday, and again coming up on Sunday. We had a few of those develop across the area, but we do have this ridge of high pressure back across the western U.S. that is going to continue to influence our weather here over the next couple of days before this next little ripple comes in here across portions of the Pacific Northwest, and that is going to bring that next cold front into the area as we move in towards the latter part of the week. Today, all the showers and thunderstorms really got going across south central Texas and pushed down into deep south Texas with a few severe thunderstorms moving in Corpus Christi south towards areas around Kingsville and down towards portions of the lower Rio Grande Valley. No reports as of yet, but there were a possibility of up to larger than quarter-size hail with some of those storms. Again, things are pretty quiet back across West Texas, and we saw great temperatures starting to cool off a little bit out there across the area. Let's take a look at this future cast. It looks like more of the same coming up tomorrow. I don't think we'll see too much in the way of any isolated showers, thunder showers in the forecast for tomorrow. Looks like everything's going to be further east over towards the Concho Valley. Coming up on Wednesday, we're going to have plenty of Gulf moisture move in. So we can't rule out an isolated shower, thunder shower in the mountain areas, maybe the eastern Permian Basin. There will definitely be an increase in cloud cover, but it looks like the bulk of the storms will be up to the north. But definitely we'll watch this as this model could change a little bit moving into here over the next couple of days. Rest of tonight, though, things look quiet and a little on the cool side. Upper 50s out there, so a pleasant overnight on the way. Tomorrow, we're going to heat up mid to even upper 90s at a few spots like Pecos and Presidio, all the way up to 97 degrees, and staying on the warm to hot side for Wednesday. Again, a 20% chance of an isolated shower, thunder shower right now. I think the best bet's going to be the mountain areas. Then that front comes in, maybe an isolated thunderstorm with it, even across the Permian Basin coming up on Thursday. But you see that little dip in temperatures? That's going to be nice for the end of the week. But coming up this Armed Forces Day weekend, things are going to be hot. We could be nearing 100 plus in many locations coming up on Sunday.
Across the state, 3 teens have graduated high school and college. We're sharing their inspiring stories up next. Graduation season is upon us, and it's a special time for all. But for 3 nursing students from the University of Texas, El Paso, it's extra special. That's because they'll be getting their degree at an age much earlier than most people. Samantha Sierra, Paris Chacon, and Valeria Martinez were all enrolled in early college while in high school, and they received their associate's degrees before earning their high school diplomas. Now the 3 teens have earned their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. 19-year-old Sierra said that she's looking forward to starting her career in the medical field and helping others.
To help the community and help others that need it, like people that are in health disparities. I'm looking forward to make my impact in El Paso, be a nurse, and help everyone else.
Both Chacon and Martinez say that they both knew that they wanted to give back and help others. Martinez says that her aunt is a nurse and she was a large influence along with her mom. The trio say that they're thankful for their friendships that they gained during their time at college, and they hope to inspire other students who may be on the same path.
A nice but hot day on the way on Tuesday. We start to see some changes Wednesday with some isolated thunderstorm chances back in the forecast. And some help with the heat with a front Thursday into Friday. And right now, if you're planning something this weekend, it's Armed Forces Day coming up on Saturday. It is going to be a great weekend to be outdoors. We're just going to have to watch out for the heat, as some areas could be looking at triple digits coming up there on Sunday.
So drink lots of ice water, sunscreen, all those things.
Liquid IV, the whole
Liquid
nine,
IV,
the
that's
whole
a
nine
good one. I
yards.
might need to go out and get some because that does look like a hot weekend. Probably not as hot as we're going to see the rest of this summer, right?
No, this is just the start of things,
just
I'm
a
sure.
little teaser until it gets way hotter. Thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.